Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dice Camera Action.
Hello.
Hello.
Back.
Hooray!
And the Waffle Crew. Yay.
Sorry we're not sock puppets. I know that's what you guys
Oh, I should have brought
Not
them.
what I was promised.
I totally should have brought them.
Aw,
Failure.
I know, they're so quality.
Yeah.
Covered in wine.
Yeah, but I brought my Friendship and Magic My Little Pony dice. So,
Yes.
because they were so good to me last time. So
Not Hannah.
previously in Dice Camera Action, the characters set out into the jungles of Chult, guided by their sorial companion, Dragonbait, who has all these different smells. And along the way, you picked up a half-orc, priest of Torm, named Umbril, and her goblin steward companion, Chumba, whom she rescued from Executioner's Run. And later, you ran into Chumba's brother, Wumba, who is kind of a dick. Which was
Jared is way too pleased about that.
which was confirmed when you had a spat with a undead tyrannosaur, and then went into a temple, chasing after two ghosts of little Chultan children. And what happened next? Something to do with Evelyn. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, Evelyn. You discovered at the top of a pillar a symbol of the sun, and through that symbol was able to commune with a saint who has a relationship with your god, Lathander. The saint, Saint Andral, offered you a very, very difficult decision. You could be restored to flesh, or you could have Lightfall, your shattered axe, reassembled before your eyes, or you could remain a construct but be a tougher construct, and you chose option 3 and returned to your friends in a spectacular beam of light after the temple nearly collapsed down upon their heads. And the only way Wumba got out with his life was to break his fall off the pillar using his brother. And so Chumba did not survive, and Umbril
You
was...
didn't have to do that.
No, that's true. Umbril was not pleased to hear that her steward had been left behind and crushed by his brother, and so she scared Wumba off, and Wumba disappeared into the foliage. It was shortly thereafter when Evelyn, having disappeared in the blaze of sunlight, reappeared before her friends. And that's where we'll pick up.
Yeah, and I mentioned last time that she reappeared with the symbol of Lathander that used to be on Lightfall, now emblazoned on her chest, on her, I guess on her breastplate, but I think it's also, she's wearing clothes and armor, so it's kind of hard to see some of this stuff, but it's there, actually engraved on her chest as well. And all of the places where she used to be, just plain wood, because she's made of wood and metal, she's a construct. I imagine that now she's just a more resplendent version of that, maybe even some of the wood has inlaid vines and flowers and leaves for her Oath of the Ancients, and she's got everywhere that she had gold, it's filigree with celestial writing on it that says all of the parts of her oath. I think she even has wings, her boots maybe engraved on her back.
Yeah, she might have vine tattoos, they'd be tattoos on a normal person, but now they're just vines inscribed upon her flesh or her artificial limbs.
Right. I think all of the wood has nature stuff on it, and then all of the metal has sun and celestial stuff
all
on
in
it.
gold.
Yeah. And I think she has maybe it's a circlet, maybe it's a half thing. She has some kind of cool headpiece too that has sun and vines and things. And so her hair is kind of super badass now, where it's deep side parted over to one side with this metal thing coming over like this. And she just appears and all of this is glowing. And she kind of looks at her friends and says something to the effect of I have been to see Saint Andral, and I know who I am. I remember who I am, and I know now what I'm supposed to do, because I am Evelyn Avalona Helvig Marthane, ancient-bound keeper of the light, divine appointed bondslave of the morning, sunlight-forged warrior, daughter of the Most High, luminous fey, defender of the dawn, reborn. Cower before me, all who stand in darkness, or I will carve a way for you into the dawn. And she's just lens flare. Yeah. And then she just looks at you all with a smile on her face.
And Strix is probably just there. She just sort of drops her staff. It's like,
She's just caught. I told you it was for you. Don't even listen to me.
You were right. You were so right, Strix. I know that I'm just where I was meant to be and in just the form I was meant to be. And she kind of like tinks on her like metal. Kind of waves Lightfall around, and she's just kind of like doing like warrior poses and like flitting around. She's just having a grand old time, like Lathander.
So it's just like, well, she's not. She can't be undead.
Dieth will approach and just kind of like put a hand on the shoulder and will say, Evelyn, I'm glad you're safe. And it's good to see you back to your old self.
Thank you. She gives him a big construct hug, which is kind of awkward.
Crunch.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
she's got more Sharpie bits now than she had before.
I think I'm a little stronger than I remembered, but I kind of put my hands on his shoulders and I'm like, now it's time to get you back to who you know you are. She looks
After
deep.
that hug, Dieth is like holding back tears, going,
I know everything's going to be all right, Dia. I feel it in my bones.
The positivity is just making Strix depressed, so she's just gonna look at Paulton and just like give the wine motion, just like the, come on, hand over the wine.
I hand it over. I'm just like, yep.
All right.
Yep.
You pass like the straw that you've got wired into Simon's backpack, keg
Just
on
like
his back.
feeding it.
Yeah, just hand her the end of the straw.
It's like take it really mean, like.
Yeah.
I try to like do some fun like sparring movements with Diaz because I'm just like super happy. I want him to be happy too. So I'm like, ha! And I do like some sparring to see if he'll join me just to be happy because he seems still sad and I want him to be as happy as I am.
yeah, well, like, kind of like half-heartedly, but it's like, I feel like an idiot, but yeah, like, that kind of gets you, like,
Yeah, Evelyn's like, yeah, combo, and she like
Yeah.
flits around him while he's doing that. And he's
yeah,
like,
almost kind of like kind of half recreating it playfully, like back in their combat when they're fighting
Yeah.
zombies, something like that. But you
Excellent.
can kind of tell that he is trying to share in your enthusiasm.
This awkward interaction will be burned in Strix's mind forever. Just forever.
right.
Just them just trying to spar. She's just like, oh, perfect.
She goes and gives hugs to everyone else too. Evelyn's just like, I just
Of
love my
course.
friends so much. You guys were always there for me.
And then you get
Strix,
to-
you knew exactly what I was supposed to do. I'm so glad I have friends like you.
That was a rhyme.
Oh,
And then you get
maybe I was inspired too.
then you get to dragon bait. Then what do you do?
I give Dragonbait a hug too. Evelyn's enthusiasm is unbridled. She cannot
Okay.
be stopped. She hugs Dragonbait too.
All right.
Like feet off the floor hugs, by the way, because she's just like flying around. So she keeps just like running into people and hugging them and then flying away.
Yep. And right now, if I remember correctly, dragon bait smells like brimstone.
Yeah,
But you don't smell anything because you have no
that's right.
you have no
I
sense
know.
of smell. So you give him a hug, and then he just sort of, after you release him eventually, he just sort of draws your attention with a nod toward Umbril, who you can tell is just very depressed right now. She just lost her steward, and she's just kind of standing away from the rest of the party, kind of lost in thought.
I go and I take her hand and I say, I don't know that Chumba's been lost, huh?
Well, well, that's true. There's this moment of you're not sure why she's this dark little storm cloud on your sunny day, and then you sort of do a
Right.
mental count and you see that, well, every time you've seen her, she's always had her goblin, and her goblin's not here. So you don't know what happened to him, but you intuit immediately that something has happened.
So I've been like, and then I kind of see that and I kind of like flit slowly to the ground and then walk over to her and take her hand and say, I notice we're one less in this party now. Are you all right?
We should get back in the canoes and get to Camp Vengeance as quickly as possible.
Evelyn just kind of nods and squeezes her hand and says, his light will never go out. but then doesn't press the issue because obviously she doesn't want to talk about it. Kind of like makes motion to everyone to like, let's go. Let's get in the canoes.
Okay.
We are sans one canoe.
And we fixed it, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we used a mending spell. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're fine.
All right, so you make your way past the rotting, dead, big hulking dinosaur thing back to your canoes by the river. You start to hop in. Umbril just casts one final glance back to Camp Righteous before.
Strix, did you want any of the teeth or claws or anything?
Oh, I already took
Yeah.
them. She just like
Yeah.
holds them up.
Oh,
Just,
nice.
like dripping.
Yep.
Gross.
And then you head upriver, and any injuries or spells that you've used are recuperated over the next few days as you continue up the river Soshenstar. Eventually, after spending many nights in the Waffle Hut and passing time with Simon and Waffles, a very sort of morose Umbril and a typically quiet Dragonbait, on a certain morning, you are going up the river and you round a bend in the river and see through the foliage a crude timber fortification, a walled compound with watchtowers, and you can see over the walls the peaks of tents. And all around this compound, which is right near the river, it's only about maybe 30 feet from the river's shore, all around it is a ditch. And bristling out of the ditch are all of these sharpened logs and stakes. Probably, given the size of them, they're designed to basically impale like dinosaurs who try to stampede against the walls and, big stuff like that. You can see on the river's edge, just outside the large gatehouse to this fort, are several rowboats. You count 4 of them. And you can also see all around the fort are piles of charred human corpses and flayed animal carcasses, all swarming with flies. And then the last thing, you see on the north side of the camp, hanging off the walls, sort of splayed out, are what look like giant skinned frog carcasses.
The poor little guys.
Yeah. Just hanging there and collecting more flies.
Jared, you're muted.
He's so horrified he can't
Yeah.
speak.
What do you want to do? I'll turn to Umbril and after like kind of seeing all the bodies and things, just addressing her, but just not like removing my gaze from like the horror all around. It's just, what the hell happened here?
He says, I don't know. It's possible that they've come under attack by undead?
Undead? That sounds like a job for a servant of Lathander.
Just Strix is like trying to like covering her mouth, like stop yelling.
I'd like to
says-
examine.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to examine some of the animal corpses or even the frog people kind of flayed up, because this seems very intentional rather than ravaged like a ghoul or zombie.
There, by the way, is a map
Oh.
showing the fort. You can see the river.
Click.
Click. Yeah, so you basically can pull you can pull your canoe up to the shore, Dieth, hop out, and go off and check out the corpses. You can see that the burnt human remains appear to be a combination of what were probably live humans who died and undead humans who were put down.
Okay.
But they've all been sort of tossed indiscriminately onto these piles and set ablaze. You think that the reason they were probably set on fire was just to mitigate the possibility of disease.
Can we tell at all how they were cut down?
Yeah, the local evidence suggests that there must have been a huge wave of undead that fought here, that ran across through the jungle, attacked the camp, tried to climb the walls, and were basically fought back.
Yeah.
And there's every bit of evidence you can see suggests that this must have happened more than once, because some of the burnt piles are sort of old and dead piles. There's no smoke coming off of them, and others are fairly fresh. So this place must be in an area of the jungle that's just absolutely riddled with undead. There's more what you would say ghoul and zombie corpses lying around than fresh, anything fresh. Now, as for the it's hard to climb down into the muddy ditch and up the other side to get a really good look at the frog corpses, but from your perspective now, closer up, you can see that they're not just giant frogs. They look like they were frog humanoids. Frog folk of some kind.
Have any of us ever heard of those?
And like bigger than say bullywugs.
So bullywugs are frog folk, and they stand about 5-6 feet tall. These frog
they're
folk
tall,
are
okay.
smaller.
Oh, okay.
They're more like halfling sized.
All right.
Should one of us go up and take a peek? Like I can get on the broom.
Yeah, you can hop on your broom. When you do that, though, you are spotted by guards on the watchtowers.
Ah!
These appear to be human guards, by the way. And the way they're because it's so hot and stifling here in the jungle, they're not wearing armor. They're just wearing basically cloth uniforms, and emblazoned on the front of their tabards is a symbol of a white gauntlet clutching a sword horizontally, which you know to be the symbol of the Order of the Gauntlet to which your friend Umbril belongs.
Right. Well, before I get shot at, I'll just
Yeah.
zoom out and be like, friends, 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 and just like, zoom down back to the boat.
All right, well, you certainly freak them out.
Oops.
They have their sort of crossbows up, and they were going to like level them at you, but they just have them pointed up at the sky right now. And one of them asks you to declare your intentions.
Friends! Friends! Umbral
Nailed it.
friend!
They don't seem to know what you're talking about.
I'll just, oh, I'm way too scary for this.
you do look pretty scary.
Away.
Okay. The scary tiefling witch on the broom flies away.
She's like realizes what it looks like, and then it's like, okay, I'll let them take care of this. I'll just look around and see if there's any undead if I could see far away.
Okay. As you look into the foliage, you don't see any. Well, make a perception check, actually.
All right. So I was more worried about the undead. They can deal with the nuances of the guards. Whoa! I got a 20. Wow!
Excellent.
That never happens.
Here.
Yeah.
I
Is that
know.
the first roll of the day?
Yeah.
This is
I
gonna
got
be a good
20.
one.
Yep. From your
Well, it's
aerial
downhill from here.
aerial
Probably
vantage point,
true.
you don't see any walking undead around. If they seem to have all been killed, but from up here you can see or get a better sense of how the battle played out, just because of all the tracks and things. It looks like undead must have come out in at least 3 different waves and attacked the fort from the north, the west, and the south. But it looks like they were repelled each time. And then there's tracks that are fresher that indicate that after the undead were all felled by arrows and crossbow bolts and whatnot, that forces from the fort came out, went around to make sure that they were all dead. And so there's all these sort of circles around, where they just sort of did a casual inspection. And then you see drag marks where bodies were pulled and then heaped into piles before they were doused with oil and set ablaze.
Right. So they were surrounded, but they fought them
Yeah,
off.
and you also see with your 20 that there are trails leading out into the jungle, which suggest that they have an active series of patrols out of the fort to go hunting for undead, or at least spying to see where they're coming from.
All right. I'm less concerned now, so.
Yeah. You also see there's a fair amount of activity inside the camp. From your vantage point, there are 3 large tents. 2 of them look like they might be hospital tents, and the other one some sort of command tent right in the center. And then there are smaller tents, which you assume are just like barracks for guards. There aren't any permanent structures other than the watchtowers and the gatehouse.
Interesting.
Are those guards still like like unsure of what we're up to?
They sort of track Strix as she flies back down to the rest of the gang, and so they're just kind of looking out toward you on the river's edge to see what you might do next. See what other strange creatures you might send their way on flying brooms.
Oh, okay. Are they in like talking distance or?
Yeah, you could shout out at them at this point, because the nearest ones on the gatehouse would be about 40 feet away.
All right, cool. I like drunkenly fumble over. I'm like, don't worry, guys. I can make us some new friends. Check this out.
So Sploop,
believe
he
him.
goes up in the mud, and he's like up to his shins in the mud as he wades toward the gatehouse, and then
Okay, I'm gonna persuade them that we are not people to bring them harm. I'm gonna do that by saying, "Hey, we cool?"
yeah, make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Yeah, dude,
also,
crush it.
Also, just a heads up, all my dice are packed, so the only thing I found in my desk was this.
Is that a stress ball?
I don't know, it's heavy.
Oh,
Solid. So,
I've got a big one too.
oh,
What'd you say?
dang.
okay, guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll be there with
We
you.
don't need to have a dice measuring contest, okay?
just forewarning, because it's gonna
Yeah.
be like,
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
oh wow, cool, gave me a nat 1.
All right.
We're not cool.
It's all right, man. It happens to the best of us.
You have one of them shout it down at you nervously. State your intentions.
Nothing bad.
What's with the broom?
Broom? I'm like, oh, she's cool.
I'm still screaming like, ah!
She does that. We've all got some issues.
Umbril will wade up behind you and say, I am Umbril Silvertusk, priest of Torn. I've been assigned to this camp. I'm here to meet with Commander Breakbone. These are my traveling companions. Let us in.
Commander Breakbone. That sounds unpleasant.
After he says let us in, I'm like, please.
All right. As they gaze down upon you and the half-orc woman beside you, they will one of them will immediately drop out of view as he goes down a ladder into the encampment to notify the commander that the priest of Torm has arrived. Not too long thereafter, the gatehouse outer doors open inward. You see a couple guards pulling them open through the mud. So now you have basically an opening into Camp Vengeance. And are you going to just leave your boats tied up with the others out here?
Yeah, I mean, if
Okay.
they've got theirs there,
Yeah.
seems safe to have ours
Yep.
included.
Okay. As you wade up through the muck, and it is really muddy here.
The muck, by the way.
Okay, you're floating above.
It, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No muck for Evelyn.
Okay. I assume the same is true for Strix, at least for now.
Yeah, I'll hover back in when I see that they're let in. Just be like,
Okay.
I didn't leave.
Dieth goes and mucks himself.
I too avoid muck with my flying mandolin.
Oh no!
Awesome.
Oh, dear.
Dieth gets just mucked up. Yep.
Sorry, you still can't fly, Diaz.
No, you're not.
Maybe someday.
There's like a point when
someday
you're
the
walking
morning
under
Lord
the...
will bless you with light.
Like, for what it's worth, flying is really fun.
So Dieth, as you sort of wade through the muck under the gatehouse, you can see up through the slats above you, the roof of the gatehouse where the guards were standing. You can see one of them staring at you through the cracks in the logs. But you also see that they've rigged some sort of like murder hole system here so they can pour oil down if anything broke through the gate. And
Make a mental note of this.
yep, and your foot kind of gets stuck in the mud at one point, and you have to like pop it out. And when you head into the quote-unquote courtyard, which is just a muddy, yard basically, there are some barrels that look like they might contain water, and you see a guard who looks really kind of weak and scrawny. He's got a bowl that he just sort of dips into one, and he sort of drinks out of the bowl. Behind him is a hospital tent, and all around the hospital tent you can see wounded guards standing or sitting in the mud, waiting to be led inside. One of the guards in the door of the gatehouse, who opened the doors to let you in, says to Umbrel Silvertusk that Commander Breakbone wants to meet her right away, and then after that she's to go to the hospital tents and tend to the sick.
I can tend to the sick. They look real sick. I can help.
The guard ignores you
Oh.
and says, "Your companions can wait outside the command tent."
Okay, well, if you change your mind, I'd love to heal some people for you. Just in the light of Lathander, the Morning Lord bless us all.
Can I try to discreetly turn into a cloud?
Sure. Poof, you're a cloud. You can see among the things in here, apart from the sleeping tents and whatnot, there are some crates of supplies that look like they haven't been unpacked yet. There's also some standing pools of water that look filthy and muddy, and actually a lot of flies are gathering over them. You also see a pen in one corner that contains 4 very sickly goats. One of the goats is being milked, or is trying to be milked, but it's kind of being stubborn and trying to get away from the guard who's attempting to milk it. It's kind of comical and sad at the same time.
Oh,
And so Umbrel disappears into the command tent.
I'm a follower.
You guys are
That's
waiting
cloud.
outside with a guard who is like slapping flies off his neck, and generally looks like he's just about the unhappiest person you've ever met. He would just as soon be in hell than here, it looks like. And he just doesn't say a word to you. And there's something about him to suggest that he has seen things, that look in the eyes, that he will never be able to shake for the rest of his life. And then there's this awkward period where you're just standing next to him. And Dragonbait does not seem at all bothered by flies. They seem to ignore him completely.
Aw.
And as
Can
far
I cloud after Umbrel?
yeah, you can sneak into the tent as a cloud.
Yeah, I wanna try and hear what they're saying
Okay.
because I'm concerned
Okay.
about our well-being from all these dead bodies.
Dragonbait smells like ham, by the way. Well, he's just waiting around nervously. Okay, so
Oh, I miss Chumba.
yeah, Strix, you can make a stealth check to see if you
Oh,
can
I'm really bad at this, but
go hidden.
that's a 9.
Okay. When you enter, you can see that Umbrel is meeting with a man who, you guys all watch Game of Thrones, right?
Of course.
Okay. He kind of looks like a shorter, thinner Stannis Baratheon.
Okay.
There's an aura about him of nobility and command that his stature doesn't quite measure up to. He's also got thinning hair, but his hair is red, almost golden, brushed back off his face. He's wearing basically just ordinary clothes, and there's mud spatters on them. It looks like fine dress to wear in Waterdeep among the nobility, but completely out of place here. He probably chose to wear it because it's sort of light and billowy, but it's got all these sort of frills and things that make no sense. And then strapped on top of that, he's got a breastplate, which is also kind of heavy and weird and for the jungle. But it's got a symbol on the front of it of the Order of the Gauntlet, so I guess he just wants to wear it to impress. Anyway, Strix, it looks like Umbrel is meeting this man for the first time, like she didn't know him previously, and she stands about 1.5 feet taller than him, and he is barking orders at her, asking her why it took her so long to get here, and she says, "Well, we stopped at Camp Righteous to check it out," and blah blah blah. She basically explains your whole journey and why it took so long, and he brushes her off and just says, "There are at least 20 people in the tents that she needs to tend to. He needs his patrols up to full strength, and she shouldn't waste any time talking to him," and then proceeds to send her away. But you can see there are 2 other figures in the room, and they're sort of standing off to one side, and they appear to be lieutenants under Breakbone, but they're dressed a little bit more importantly than the guards you saw outside, one of which is a dwarf with golden hair, nicely parted and trimmed, and a nicely trimmed golden beard. And the other is a female human who is wearing, who looks like she must have just gotten back from some sort of patrol because she's absolutely splattered with mud and stuff, and she's even got some blood on her. And she's got a wound tied off around her shoulder. It looks like a bandage that's still got blood. It's almost dripping. It's so saturated. And Umbril says, maybe I should tend to her first. And Breakbone looks at his lieutenant and then looks back to her and he says, I gave you an order. Go to the tent. Tend to the sick. She'll be fine. Go. And Umbril just bows, nods, and leaves. And
These
then,
guys are mean.
yeah, and then Commander Breakbone says, and take your witch with you.
No.
Oh,
I just like to imagine my two little eyes are just like speak like snail eyes under
Yeah.
the. Like, as soon as they say that, it's like. So I'll go back out and
Okay.
uncloud.
All right.
And also, I'd like to help those goats, like tend to the goats. Like, help that guy. with
forget about the
goats.
sick people. Get
And
the
it's
goats.
sad. I'm sad about the goats.
All right. The dwarf comes out shortly after you guys emerge and addresses the rest of you and says, I'm Captain Ord Firebeard. Welcome to Camp Vengeance. Commander Breakbone wants to have a word with you.
Is Firebeard like a family name, or does your beard actually do something with fire?
It's a clan name. My beard isn't actual fire, but in the light it can look that way.
Oh, it does. Evelyn like kind of
He's
looks
enters the
close.
tent.
Wow.
Strix just follow DF while this happens. Should we all just leave
And,
and she's still out there?
He says, you've had a long trip. Do you want some water?
I would, but I don't think I need any. Thanks, though.
You got
I don't-
wine?
We're all out of wine.
All right, guys, we gotta go. This place has nothing special to offer.
I don't eat or drink, right?
You do not. Yeah.
Yeah. Evelyn just kind of longingly, when he says, do you want water? Evelyn's kind of like,
Strix, are you going to stay out here or are you going to go in with your friends?
I'm gonna go in with them, not a cloud, just acting like I.
The dwarf kind of stops you before you pass through the threshold of the tent and he says, Commander Breakbone doesn't want you in the tent.
Oh, great.
But you can wait out here with me.
God, fine. Now my feelings are hurt.
Why can't you go in the tent? That's not very nice.
Doesn't
I'll
like
wait
it.
out here with you, Strix. We can talk about
No,
it.
go
later.
into the tent. No, go into the tent, please. Please go into the tent. Please.
All right, if that's what you want.
I'm just gonna tend to these goats. It's fine. I'm just here to set things on fire.
I see that she's not let in,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna talk to him. I'm just like, so who said that she can't come in?
The dwarf looks at you, just sort of casts a raised eyebrow glance at you and says, Commander Breakbone says, and he's in charge.
So what is he like your command? Oh wait, no, it's in his title.
It's fine. I'll just wait out here and work on the goats. It's fine. Look how sad they are. I'll give them pets.
They're pretty sad.
Don't worry about me. It's fine. I already know what's going on.
Well, just scream real loud if you get scared, okay?
Same for you. I mean, not
Okay.
scared, but stabbed or hung or.
I see the dwarf like side eyeing me, and then I like readjust so I can like side eye him back. Yeah, see, I can be a dick too. All right,
He
later.
doesn't mean that. We respect your customs and order of command, of course. Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. And she just kind of shoves Paulton forward into the tent.
Okay.
Just be careful, Strix.
I don't like authority figures.
Watch out for his beard. It does something with fire. I was half listening.
When you enter the tent, you see that it's just you guys, Commander Breakbone, and the wounded captain with him. She doesn't say anything as you enter, but Commander Breakbone says, I'm drafting you into the Order of the Gauntlet.
By all of us?
Yes. Due to ailments that have besieged my men, I need your help to run patrols around the camp.
Whoa, I'm sorry. That wasn't part of the deal. We already had our own things doing, and we're not here to be ordered. We're not soldiers.
I mean, we do love helping, but I'm already part of a higher order, and that is the Morning Lord's light and his charge on me to keep order and peace and life and beauty in the world. Have you heard about our Morning Lord, Lathander?
He walks over to you and kind of looks you up and down, and he says, I am in charge of bringing order to this camp. I am the order here. Do you understand?
Oh, certainly. This camp is a nice place for you to hold order, but of course the Morning Lord is in charge of order for the entire universe. So of course he would be the higher power, and we're certainly happy to help, but I don't know. I'd have to seek his guidance on whether I should join another order or something like that.
He says, if we don't mount these patrols and deal with the enemies who seek to overcome us, all of the men within these walls will die.
Oh, well, we can't allow that. Dieth, I think we need to help.
This whole time, by the way, I'm like closely examining him, like up and down. I'm just like, so which bone?
What?
Which one's broken?
None. None are broken. That's my name. You
Okay.
simpleton.
Well, let's
Little-
not call names.
It's like, all right, and commander misleading.
He says, our camp is the final bastion of civilization in this untamed land. We've got armies of undead. We've got hostile frog people attacking us at every turn. We've got to
Ew.
destroy them.
What can you tell us about these frog people? Because sometimes maybe people are dealing with some stuff at home, and maybe it would help to like talk to them and work things out.
They're a hostile force that attacks us with poisoned arrows. The poison is deadly, if not debilitating. He says, they have a village nearby. We just have to find it. When we do, we'll destroy them. We'll wipe them out utterly.
What if we just persuade them not to shoot us with poison arrows anymore and just to be
You can't
allies?
negotiate with these non-human pond-dwelling creatures. They're
Not
monsters.
that attitude, you can't.
They're vicious monsters. You can see he's practically just like he's trying to contain himself, but he's trembling when he's saying this. He says, "If we don't exterminate them, they'll exterminate us."
All right, the way I see it here, Mr. Fixed Bone, is so.
Break bone.
I mean, that's what you're asking us, but like, what if they had asked us to like do the same to you? Then how would you feel about that? You wouldn't be too stoked, would you?
Their feelings don't concern me. It's their intentions that I'm worried about.
Do any of us know anything about this race of frog people? Like, have we seen them before or read about them or anything?
You don't remember specifically. You remember the guards on the walls of Port Nyanzaru shouting out at you to beware certain creatures. You don't remember them saying. Well, maybe you do remember them saying something about frog folk. You're not sure. It may have been one of the races that they warned you about.
Okay.
He says, you'll run a patrol. You'll go northwest of here. You'll search for signs of this frog folk and their village. If you find it, report back immediately. Don't attack them, don't confront them, and don't negotiate with them. Do you understand?
He didn't say, don't tell them about the light of Lathander.
As much as we'd love to help you,
I wouldn't.
I can't. Unless, perhaps, if you were to say, if we did this for you, perhaps you could provide some information to me. For example, the potential location of Orolunga, the lost city?
Strix is just outside going like, goats, goats, goats. Like, not even like in this room.
Why do you want to go there?
We have our tasks, and you have yours.
Will
I
this
feel
help?
no-
Will this help the Order in any way in its battle against evil?
Oh yeah.
Undoubtedly.
You see him walk away from you and go over to his captain, and they have a very quiet conversation that only lasts maybe 10 seconds. And then you can see that she seems like a calming influence on him. And when he turns around, he says, "You run the patrols. You report back what you've learned. Then we will furnish you with a map."
All right. Kind of turn towards Evelyn and Paulton, looking for like acceptance of terms.
I think that sounds just fine.
Sure.
All right.
I've always loved maps.
And
Don't
as
you love
long as
maps?
as long as it's a map out of here, this place blows.
All right.
He doesn't mean that. You have a very lovely home.
I mean, this place is just hot garbage.
It's quite warm and welcoming.
We can do this, but only understand that we're not warriors. We're not here to fight. We can obtain information for you, but that's all we can do. Once that is done, we have to leave.
I'm a warrior in the service of Lathander.
Evelyn's
Your orders are to patrol and reconnoiter. I don't expect you to fight anything. But if you encounter undead, or you encounter more of these frog folk, you're going to have to kill them, or they will kill you.
We have a little experience with killing undead. Am I right, Dia? Then I nudge him.
Like, I stabbed a shadow.
And get this drunk to a sleeping tent.
Hey, at least my name's honest, buddy. You and break
Evelyn's like patting him like,
firebones.
Thank you, we will. And she's like ushering him out.
Everyone here with their lying names, bitch asses.
While that's going on, Strix, you've sort of come into the pen where these 4 sickly goats are going around, and they really don't want to be milked, and you can understand why. They don't want to put out. They're very weak, and it just looks like they're emaciated and they haven't eaten properly.
Oh, I'll try and find them some food while this whole conversation's going on then.
Okay, there's like nothing really around. Well, there's a couple crates that haven't been unpacked outside the command tent yet, but they're sealed up, and you suspect they contain like rations and things, but nothing that the guards are willing to feed to the goats.
Right. Poor goats. Do I have any like food I can give them?
You have some scraps that they will absolutely devour,
I'll give
but
them
they're
that.
so hungry.
Oh, poor guys.
Yep.
I also apologize for killing so many of them in the past.
And as you feed the goats, your friends come kind of piling back out of the tent. Reading their body language, you can see Paulton's a little more uppity than usual, and Evelyn seems to be pushing him a little more than
Oh no.
she would like to.
What happened?
Oh, it's not my fault. Everyone's just like, oh, I'm such and such with my lying ass name or whatever. I don't care this place.
I see it
Really
went
has an affinity for
poorly.
accuracy, you know?
Oh, it went great. We found a way out of here.
I just look at Dief like while they're just talking. I'm just like, what happened?
I found us a way to get some information to get as closest to Orolunga.
Great.
It will require some tasks of us. And don't freak out. All we
You're
have to
asking
do-
the wrong person.
All we have to do is
We're
find.
gonna kill some frogs and stuff.
We're only looking for an encampment of where they could be located so they could properly defend themselves or mount a counterattack. That's all we're doing.
We're probably gonna kill someone.
We usually do.
We'll try to avoid that when we can.
All right.
Look, it's just a recon mission. It'll be fast. The three of you fly.
Waffles doesn't fly. Obviously, we have to take
Look,
Waffles.
I mean, none of us are strong enough to carry you on our own, but what if like we all worked together and flew together? Maybe we could like carry you by the back of your cloak, and maybe you could fly too. You just feel so left out. I don't want you to feel left out.
Or we could use a rope or something and just tie him too. He's had some
We're not
experience
doing
with ropes.
that. No, someone on the ground is actually still useful because we can use that to give proper landmarks to help them get directed to where the encounter is going.
That's right. You are so useful, Dia. That's right.
Did you find out why they wouldn't let me back in? Do they just not like magic?
Well, I can only surmise that they're dealing with a lot of undead and spooky things, and
Oh, I see how it is. Oh,
Whoa.
great. Oh, fine. I'm just spooky.
I mean, Strix. I mean, come on.
She just like trudges off.
I don't think you're
the,
spooky, Strix.
Is the dwarf still there?
Yes, he is.
Say, it's this guy, Mr. Firebeard.
Firebeard. And Evelyn kind of winks at him.
It's like, who's got a match?
No.
Make an honest dwarf out of this guy.
Let's just get this done. Trix is like yelling at the door. If we have to patrol, let's just get it over with,
Yep.
please.
The dwarf will say, if you follow me, I'll take you to one of the tents. You can put your stuff there.
Okay.
That sounds smart.
I don't have any stuff.
Okay, let's go.
All right. He leads you to a tent that's basically built on a small little plot of dry land surrounded by mud. And he says, the soldiers who were in here previously were killed, so you can have theirs.
Cool.
Bless them in the light of the Holy Lord Lathander. May their souls go straight
You see a
to the
couple
light.
bedrolls in there, and that's really about it. They've all been bundled up. Other than that, it's an empty, just pitch tent. Probably big enough for about 4 people.
The only supplies I want to bring in and leave there are the same ones that we would have stashed in the canoe. A lot
Okay.
of more personal effects I'm going to keep with me and bring with me, and that includes a lot of like food and traveling supplies. Just because I don't trust them to not touch our things when they're gone and give them out to soldiers.
All right. And Captain Firebeard says that when it's time for you to set out, Captain Saldana will come by and give you some information about where to go.
All right, sounds good.
If you need anything, just holler. Then he nods and walks away through the mud.
Bye.
He seems nice.
He has a nice
place-
beard, too.
I'm getting everyone's attention. Like, this place is a slaughterhouse. We're gonna die. Everyone is dead.
I'm not even certain that I can die anymore.
You can actually hear in the tent next to yours, because you got basically two rows of tents, that like somebody is in there just bawling their eyes out.
I don't want to be in the dead book because they just want to defend this camp. This camp should have fallen a long time ago.
Yeah, but they've been stalwart thus far.
I feel like stalwart might not be the only thing that they are. They should have. There's too many dead bodies here.
Umbral was here for a reason, and she's only been helpful to us. And
And she got yelled at. She's not in charge here.
I can't speak for the rest of their lives here, but at the very least, we can get what we need.
Aren't we supposed to help by going and finding these frog people and doing some
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing, Ebro.
some good democracy, and so we can tell them not to attack anymore and they can all become friends?
Sure, Evelyn.
Yeah.
That's not, in fact, what he told you to do, but that's all right.
That's what I heard.
Is that
Also-
crying still happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's since you guys are having a conversation here, you can see it sort of died down a little bit. Now it's more like a sobbing. And then you also see somebody coming out of the hospital tent that looks like they must have received some magical ministration from Umbral, because they generally look in decent shape. Making her, it's a young woman, maybe in her mid-20s, who is wearing the livery of the Order of the Gauntlet. But you can see that it's got stains all down the front of it from blood and gore and other messiness. But she makes her way back to her tent, and when she sees you, she says, "Fresh meat?"
Nope.
"You're the ones who came with the priest," she says.
Yeah, but I'm not made of meat, and these aren't for eating either, so not meat, no.
"We're all meat here."
Except for me. What's your name?
Cassia.
Yeah.
Cassia.
Cassia.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful name.
Cassia what?
No.
Cassia Duvert.
Come back to me.
I'm Evelyn. It's very nice to meet you. You look like you've been through a lot.
She says, "I've been stationed here for 30 days. I'm one of the new ones. I just had my first confrontation with the undead under
How
a
did it
10-day
go?
ago. Well, I made 2 friends here since I arrived. They're both on pyres outside the walls now, so as you can imagine, not too well."
Bless them as they travel to the light. I'm sorry for your loss.
I want to walk up to her and kind of look at her really stern and be like, "What's the dark of this place? What's going on here? I am concerned that there is something else happening. Why do you stay here if everyone's dying? Why are they holding this spot?"
She says, "The Order of the Gauntlet came here because this land has become so overrun with undead that it threatens to push civilization off of the peninsula of Chult altogether. We are here to be a beacon of light, to make the point that evil doesn't always win, that sometimes evil has to be fought head on. You don't back down just because it's stronger than you."
Preach, Cassia.
Do you believe that?
I did. Now, I'm not sure.
You'll believe it again. We'll fight hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with you. We'll make sure that these undead are pushed back, won't we? Won't we, team?
If it
Like
was,
I said, this is a slaughterhouse. These people are just being written into the dead book every 5 minutes, and it's not. It's a point. We need to find where the undead are coming from.
if it was just the undead, maybe we'd stand a chance, but now it's these frog creatures, and there's so many.
I cradle her face. I'm like, don't you worry about those frogs. Don't you worry. We're going to take good care of that, Cassia, and you're just going to get some good rest. And then we're going to come back. We'll help you with the undead. You're just going to be just fine, and you're going to be bathed in the light.
All right. You see her eyes start to well up with tears. Like no one has spoken this way to her in so long she'd almost forgotten what it's like to feel warmth from another person.
I hold her to my metal bosom and pat her head.
There's no warmth there.
Yeah, and at the same time, she wants to put her arms around you, but then when she does, she realizes what she's touching isn't real, and so it's just altogether very awkward.
Cassie, you've been here for 30 days. How many attacks have you seen?
Here at the camp, 2.
Yeah. Which directions do they come from?
The undead came from the south, the frog folk from the northwest. They call them grung.
Gross.
Yeah.
They don't speak our languages.
Well, we're about to go look for them. Do you want to come with us? You seem real nice.
I don't have orders to. I suspect I'll get new orders in the morning once Commander Breakbone realizes I'm well enough to fight.
Evelyn looks very disappointed that Cassia can't come with them.
You have to understand, we all follow orders here. It's the only way we can stay together.
And how's that working out?
It could be worse.
Could be better.
But we don't want to go the way of Camp Righteous.
Yeah, that camp didn't look so healthy. Well, then we'll go forth and make a way for you, Cassia. Don't you worry. Let's leave right now, team. Let's go find those grown.
Well, they said they were going to come get us.
We have orders. We'll follow them and play nice for now.
All right, fine. Then I'm going to go find out who's crying and make sure they're okay.
No, I'm not. I'm going to go into the tent.
All right. When you
Even though
poke,
I do think any comfort you could provide to this camp would not go unappreciated.
yeah. Even when you poke into the next tent, you can see that it's a kind of a youngish man, probably in his late teens, early 20s. You can see that he's got a splint on his leg, and he's got it stretched out, and he's reclining awkwardly. And when you come in, he's like brushing a big centipede and like mashing it with his boot to kill it. You can see that he's just at his wit's end. He's in the worst place that he can possibly imagine, and he's just feeling like assailed on every edge. And when you poke your head in, and like the sunlight just hits your golden gleaming armor a certain way, you just kind of look like this luminous being. He looks up at you, almost afraid for an instant, and then he just sort of bursts into tears because he doesn't believe that what he's seeing is real. He thinks he's hallucinating.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. And she comes over and she like starts to kneel down by his bed, but then sees how dirty and gross the floor is. So she kind of like kneels, but with her boots so that they go poop, 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 poop. So she's like hovering above the ground, but kneeling down.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she says, I heard you crying. What's the matter?
He just completely breaks down and he says he just wants to go home. He just wants to go back to Baldur's Gate. He doesn't know why he's here, why he signed up for this. This was all a mistake. This was all bad. He should have listened to his father.
Evelyn takes his hand and she's like, this was not a mistake. You are meant to be here, for you are bathed in the light of the righteous, helping hold back evil. You are the key and you are wanted and appreciated. And I kind of am looking at his leg while I'm saying that. Does it look like...
It looks like it's causing him a great deal of pain. It's all sort of discolored. It was obviously set by somebody who doesn't know what they're doing and had no magic.
I say, the morning Lord is with you, and I lay on hands for like 10 HP, but I do it like on his leg.
All right. Yeah, you see all the discoloration just evaporates from his leg, and his bones sort of magically, gently knit together. And almost instantly, he's just the relief, the physical relief, the pain just sort of subsides, and he's able to move his foot, and he's just like, he smiles for the first time. It's like he never expected to feel that again.
I like touch his face, and I'm like, what is your name, soldier?
He says, Galif.
Galif, you are blessed by the morning Lord, and you will be triumphant. Don't let darkness choke out the light within you.
You hear in the background, Galif, what?
Oh, good leg.
Good luck. And yeah, he tells you that his family in Baldur's Gate, his father's a merchant, and he was basically working for his father for a number of years. And when he goes back there, he doesn't want to go back. He doesn't want his father to hear that he failed here.
You're not failing as far as I'm concerned. Looks like you're giving life a limb.
He says, thank you so much. I'm going to rest a while, and then I might get up and walk around.
That sounds real nice. You rest now. And she kind of just pats him on the head. Clunk, 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 and walks away.
He sort of feels that. All right, you come out, and he says, tell your friend, my last name is Torfino.
Okay, I'll tell him. Paulton, his last name is Tarfino.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
Those aren't real words. All right. All right, so you're all back outside again, waiting. You don't have to wait long before Captain, the young woman with the bloody bandage on her arm and shoulder comes over to you. And she's got a big rolled up piece of paper, and she comes to you and says, I'm Captain Salhana. You didn't get a proper welcome back there, but welcome to this mess we call Camp Vengeance. And then she unfurls this piece of paper and she says, here is a record where some of our other sorties have gone. And she points to certain things. Here's Camp Vengeance, here's blah, blah, blah. What I'd like you to do is do a wide range arc to the northwest. Try to go beyond this lake, up through here, look for this river. She basically points to a number of markers that have been identified. See if you can't scout out this unknown area up in this corner. Come back with whatever information you can provide. Try to be back before next evening. We'd like a report by then.
Done.
Can do. Also, is your arm okay? Because it doesn't look so good.
It's of little importance. I was bitten on the wall, but other than a slight numbness and weakness, I should be fine, and I have an appointment to meet with the priest.
Numbness and weakness from a bite? I look at Diaz meaningfully. I'm like, I don't like bites.
Same.
You can't be bitten, Evelyn.
Well, I know. I don't like when other people get bit. And I'm like, shh, come here.
She's standing next to you.
Evelyn, like, boop, lays on hands on her arm.
Okay. You're giving her hit points, or are you trying
Yeah,
to like
HP.
remove disease
Okay.
or?
Oh, yeah, I'll do that instead. I'm
Okay.
trying to remove disease. And that's 5, I
Okay.
think, from me.
Yeah, that burns 5. Okay. Yeah, you can see it once you administer the healing. She's able, the pain sort of, so you can sort of see it just kind of changes her posture and whatnot. And she looks at you and she says, I'm sorry, you're a priest?
I am a servant of the morning Lord Lathander who smiles down upon this place with his holy
Got it.
healing light.
I like
She
her.
says,
Same.
thank you very much for all that you've done and all that you will do. And I apologize for Commander Breakbone's bluntness. He's new to this kind of thing.
Yeah, why was he mean to me?
He doesn't like tieflings very much.
Oh, great. I
Racist.
knew it.
He likes a lot of, he dislikes a lot of things that aren't, like, he told us to kill all these different things. And they're like, kill this, kill that. I'm like, why? He's like, because they're different. And I'm like,
Look,
oh, dude.
as a tiefling, Strix is very used to this. She's just like, oh yeah, whatever, it's fine.
She says, but don't worry about it. At that point, she says, if you need any additional provisions, you can get them from the crates outside the command tent. I don't know what you have, and just make sure that you're stocked with food, you have enough water. Will that dragon man be going with you? All right.
Is he? Yes. Yes.
He
Let's
nods.
take him. Yeah.
Okay.
I would like that, please.
Is
All
there
right.
any chocolate in the provisions? And if so, Diaz, will you eat it and tell me what it tastes like?
She says, I don't have any, but I have it on authority that Captain Firebeard might have some hidden in his tent. I'll see what I can do.
We don't.
I like Firebeard.
Even we don't need any chocolate. We don't need to indulge ourselves when they're already stretched so thin in both manpower and supplies.
Right. Can
But
you
I
tell
can-
me how you remember chocolate tasting?
I remember it tasting just like chocolate.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah. All right, and she will roll up her map and walk back to the command tent.
All right. I took astute notice of all the markers that
Okay.
she pointed out.
As the evening starts to set in, you see there's a couple places where there's little clearings where some of the soldiers have been tasked by Firebeard with getting fires going, bonfires, essentially, for cooking.
All right.
I can help with that.
Yep.
I'll just run around and be like, pew, pew, pew. I'm helpful just like you. Look at me. I'm also helpful, and you should like tieflings.
At one point, you see coming out the back of the command tent is Commander Breakbone, and he's just sort of pausing out here, and he just lights a pipe. And he's smoking it, and he's watching the fires being built, and he's watching the guards doing whatnot. He's watching a guard over next to the outhouses in a corner, basically just throwing up. And he sort of casts a disapproving glare at that individual, but pays no, doesn't even look in your direction.
Paulton, you know what you should do for morale? Because everyone's so sad. You should play a concert.
Or light that dude's beard on fire.
No.
All right, I'm on it. Don't worry. And I just like start walking off.
Oh, no.
All right, so Paulton goes through the mud. Are you
During
leaving
the
Simon behind, or
bonfire-
you taking your drink with you?
Taking with.
All right.
As
During
usual.
the
Need my
bonfire and feasting, Diaz will basically create a sort of plan or map of the most efficient way to get to like all the markings and areas.
Okay.
He said, just like getting a plan for us tomorrow
Okay.
to follow through on.
Yeah, you can see that the guards don't have a ton of food to go around, so it's kind of being rationed out between them. But the one bit of humor, the one sort of radiant bit of light here, is that they do get a chuckle over the fact that they don't have to share with quite so many as they used to.
That's dark.
It is pretty dark.
Yay.
Yes, and they periodically go from the fire to a barrel of water where they can basically dunk their canteens or mugs or whatever they've got to get fresh water out. But man, they are craving wine, they're craving ale, and when they see Simon and his little ale keg on their back, they're like, I wonder what's up with that. Anyone want to do anything else while Dieth is laying out a course?
I want to find a match.
A match.
Evelyn's
match.
like, no,
We need a
Paulton,
match."
no.
Can't.
Baby's-
I'm gone. I'm already there.
You could go into a fire and pull out a flaming piece of timber.
Like,
Evelyn is
oh, this will
babysitting
work.
Paulton and taking away every time he finds fire. She's taking it away from him.
Okay.
It would be funny.
No. Here, and she keeps like trying to give him instruments. Like, here, how about bagpipes instead? You know how like when a kid wants something and you're like, no, here, and you replace it with something else. She just keeps doing that with instruments.
Instruments?
Yeah, like he's like got a flaming torch. She's like, no, she takes that away. And she's like, look, your new loot, ooh, and tries to give it to him.
Like,
Paul is that kid at the fire pit who keeps like trying to pull out a stick that's on fire and
Yep.
move it around.
Yep. Yep.
Strix is just gonna walk up to Dieth making the map and just be like, I don't want to die here. Let's make sure we don't die here.
We're not dying here. This isn't our fight.
It's
here
not.
tonight.
But that guy is real mean.
I agree. I don't like him at all.
They said that he's new. I'm just not sure everything here is on the level. I feel like there are some things that we don't know.
I agree. But at the same time, that's not our prerogative. We have our own things we got to do. And I don't know, maybe if they can find this camp and they can mount a counterattack, maybe that's all they need to succeed.
I am going to try and believe that.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, because I seem to have a problem with this, Paulton and Dieth and Strix, your maximum hit points are each 2 lower than they were when last we met.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
That's
good.
accounting for you guys are sharing the rings of protection that protect you
Yeah.
from the death curse.
That is correct.
And come tomorrow morning, you will be an additional 1 down.
Okay.
Great.
did I get the stick on fire yet?
Yeah. And you got one here that you can like run away from Evelyn with.
It's like, all right, where is he?
You go stalking through the camp for the dwarf.
Firebeard, run!
Don't spoil it.
All right. So you go poking around the camp. Just make a perception check to see if you can find the dwarf before Evelyn snatches this thing away from you.
That is a 12.
Okay. You can't find the dwarf.
Crap.
Oh, and there's
He's just
Evelyn.
wandering around.
It shouldn't
with
be
the
that
fire.
far. It's one guy with a beard on fire.
Darkness.
Evelyn, since Paulton won't do a show for them to raise morale, Evelyn starts showing everyone like the 2 tricks that Waffles can do.
Oh, okay.
She's like, watch this. Waffles,
sit. And then Waffles, see, she did it.
Waffles, kill.
No.
One of the guards very darkly suggests that maybe Waffles would be better as, like, fixins.
I was really afraid someone was going to say that. That's upsetting.
No.
No.
Watch
Wrong.
this. This is our second trick. Ready? Waffles kisses, and Waffles goes with her beak just boom, right on Evelyn's face. And he's like, "Isn't that great? Give kisses."
You hear Paulton from the back, just like, Owlbear meat's kind of okay.
Go lie
What?
down. You're drunk.
I'm fine. The nearest person to me, I'm like, hey, have you seen that Firebeard guy? So I'm holding like a torch. He's a friend.
One of the guards will tell you that Captain Firebeard likes to basically inspect all of the watchtowers at this time of night. Make sure they're all clean and proper, and they have all the equipment that they need and the ammunition that they need.
Right. I knew that. He asked me to help him. I am the light source.
Okay. You get the sense after talking with a couple of guards, all of you, that Breakbone is the super guy in charge, and then he's got the two captains, Salhana and Firebeard. Firebeard's responsible primarily for defense, and Salhana's primarily responsible for the sorties into the jungle. And so Paulton goes stalking from one watchtower to the next, and eventually catches sight of Firebeard on top of the gatehouse. He's talking with one of the guards up there. And of course, Firebeard can see you coming, Paulton, because you got a big flaming stick.
Hey, buddy.
Is that for me? Word gets around you're trying to light my beer on fire.
Like everyone in the camp knows.
I'm just like, what? You're crazy, man. How do I get up there?
I'm not letting you up here.
Yeah, you are.
Nope.
Come on, for old time's sake.
He says, maybe you should go to bed. You got a busy day tomorrow.
They just chuck in. I'm like, fine. Continue living your lie. I just stomp away. No, I float away angrily on my bed.
Oh, you've already used that today, so you can't use it again.
Oh yeah.
I stomp away
You stopped
angrily.
one. Yes.
He like tries and just flops into the mud.
Yeah.
Stupid mandolin.
Literally, I'm watching all this with Dia. This is all unfolding, and I just look straight at Dia, and I'm like, "Do not want to die here."
All right.
Whole night's ruined.
You guys, after meals, everybody goes back to sleep. Guards on duty go up to their watchtowers and watch vigilantly for trouble to come, but the night passes uneventfully. And in the wee hours of the morning, there's a bugle sound that wakes you all, and it's really quite loud and obnoxious. And then as you come out of your tent, you can see Dragonbait is out there. He's all ready to go. You can see Umbril is talking to him near the smoldering remains of one of the campfires. You can see she looks exhausted.
Been going all night.
Yep.
All right.
And and then a guard comes over to her, and they start talking about burial detail. And she says that probably best if they talk to the commander about that. But she looks at you, and she manages a smile, and she says, I hear Breakbone talked you into doing a patrol.
Yeah, he was convincing.
Yeah, he's something, isn't he? She says, just between you and me, I think there's something else going on here. Something doesn't feel right.
No, definitely not.
Something else like what?
Yeah, his bones are fine.
I don't know. I'm going to try to get to the bottom of it today. Now that most of the guards have been at least healed, things should be a little bit calmer here.
When did Breakbone start here?
He came shortly after the construction was completed. He's a noble. He's not actually military trained as far as I can tell.
That's bad news.
Anyway, he's been here almost a month. The conflict with the Grung started after he showed up.
I think we should try and figure out what's going on with the Grung first.
None of this adds up. Even looking at the maps and the places they've looked before, they're just all over the place.
Oh, wait,
No.
it adds up perfectly. He doesn't like tieflings, which means he probably doesn't like Grung, which means he probably started the fight on his own.
Possible. Either way, Umbral, you've been gaining the soldiers' trust. Like as soon as you help any of them, like they'll trust you. Try to learn anything you can from them. We're gonna rely on you to get whatever information you can. In return, we'll get down to the bottom of this together.
I'll do what I can. And she retreats. A few minutes later, you see Breakbone again emerge from his tent, but this time he's got Firebeard with him, and they seem to be having an argument, mostly about defenses and the fortifications in the fort. You can tell that Breakbone is basically busting Firebeard's balls for doing a piss-poor job of keeping the place secure. And then it comes up in the course of the conversation that one of the guards is missing, i.e., it might be AWOL. Slipped out in the middle of the night. You can't catch all the details, but you sort of get the thrust of it.
Oh, well, it happens.
Not in this camp, apparently. Anyway,
Right? I mean, I'm not going to interrupt them.
Yep.
Let them continue to argue.
yeah, the dwarf contrite goes sort of stomping off, fuming, and the commander goes back into his tent after nothing is really settled between them. But you can see the dwarf's rage is barely contained. And at that point, Salhana comes out to you from her tent and says, "You'd best be off if you're going to get back by evening."
She's right. We don't have a whole lot of time.
Let's go.
All right. You are led out by Dragonbait through the gatehouse, and then you begin to chart through the wilderness to the northwest. Dragonbait's got his sword out, and he's just hacking stuff out of the way to clear a path ahead of him. And you leave Camp Vengeance behind. And I need to make some moves.
I'm riding on Waffles.
Ah, good call, yeah. Waffles can easily manage this terrain.
I'm also telling her about Morning Glory. Because I'm like, you were real little when Morning Glory was around, but she was a mount that I had before I could ride on you because you're so big now. And I'm sure maybe we'll see her again now that I know that Lathander loves me and it's okay to call her, but I'm just trying to think of the best time to do it. And you're really going to love her. And I just go into a description of her and I'm just talking to Waffles the whole time.
Cool. Yep.
Because I used up my mandolin flight, I'm
You'll
just like
have it.
holding.
You'll have it actually again today because it's a new day. But it lasts. I think your flight lasts what, an hour?
Yeah, it's probably an
Yeah.
hour.
So you can fly. You can use the spell once per day, and I think it lasts an hour. 10 minutes.
Well, then, in the interest of conserving the spell, I'm just kind of holding my mandolin between my legs, just like shh.
Making sounds too. All right. Strix, are you trudging along with them, or are you on the broom?
I'm definitely on the broom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and hold up the rear, I guess, and
Okay.
just sort of like keep look on the back, like watch, just like
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get past the areas
this guy
yeah.
kind of recon.
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
And I am inking like very detailed notes and whatever small
Yeah.
markings or maps that I can do.
Once you get a few hundred yards away from the camp, you are in jungle, and it starts to become quite deep, and the terrain becomes very uneven. Obviously, they picked a place to build the camp that was flattened by the river and easily accessible as a supply line. But the surrounding jungle is actually, the land falls away in a number of places into great ravines and gorges, and some of that terrain kind of defines how you move. And you have a map that shows a lot of these features that you have to kind of navigate around. Suffice to say, your path is not a straight one, it's a winding one, and often going up and down under trees that can be as high as 100 feet or more. And as you make your way along, Dieth, you're the mapper, so you're going to give advantage on Dragonbait's survival checks to follow
sweet.
the path. And he guides you faithfully as far as you can tell. He doesn't miss a beat or stray from the track even once. You stop for lunch. by a small creek with a waterfall where you can get fresh water. And then it starts to rain in the midday, and the rain just comes down in barrel loads for a good long time. And then in the late afternoon, you come upon a jungle where the light only filters in through thin, narrow little beams. And there are berry bushes growing rampant all over the place, and they smell so sweet. It's almost sickening here because there's so many.
Yeah, Evelyn, you'd hate it.
Can I do a nature check on those berry bushes?
You sure
See what
can.
they are?
Yep.
All right. I didn't roll well, but I have a lot of nature. 12.
Can I roll survival to double check for her?
It would be a nature check, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
So,
My nature sucks.
with your 12, you know that these are just sweet, tasty berries. They don't have any medical property, but you think that they're used to make wine. And a very, what you assume to be a very, very tasty wine.
Oh. I just like tell Paulton to put some in some bottles he'll forget about.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. But you also, Strix, with that roll, find a weird twisted root next to one of the berry bushes. And when you rip that out, you think it might have some properties that you could tap into as far as dealing with or curing poison.
Oh, neat.
Yep.
I'll put that into my shamble of clothes.
Okay. A little bit further down, the woods become so dark that there's a lot of dead wood around here, or fallen trees and things that have all sort of rotted out and are covered with moss and mushrooms. Lots and lots of mushrooms. And Strix, if anybody wants to make another nature check, you can ascertain if these things.
Well, you said the right name first.
I
'cause
know.
love those mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Like,
Woo!
look at these weird mushrooms. I'm on it. Oh, I got a 20.
Wow.
Hey!
Okay, you can.
Whoa.
That's 2 in one game. It's on things like mushrooms.
Yeah, you can see growing
Surviving.
on the rotted wood of these dead trees are mushrooms called zabu.
Ooh.
And what's interesting about them
Zabu.
is, if crushed or struck, they release spores, and these spores are poisonous. So they're like little mushroom grenades, basically.
Oh, no.
Grenades.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I want some.
No, don't touch them.
And you can find about 20 of these things. The dangerous part is you have to carry them properly, or they'll blow up. Like if you fall,
Oh.
and you'll surround yourself with a spore cloud. You know.
I will not be taking any.
Yeah, considering how much that happens, I'll take 2 of them.
Okay.
Do you want me to carry them? Because I'm pretty sure that wouldn't hurt me.
Everybody make perception checks to see if you notice
Sure.
anything else.
Oh, you want a perception check?
Yeah, perception from everybody to see what else you notice in this rotting glade.
Nate, this one's for you, man. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm with you right in that. Let me show you how it's actually done.
All right.
Holy shit.
Well, I got pluses, so hold on.
I rolled a 6.
6.
I got 19.
19.
I'm rolling well today.
16.
16.
Got y'all beat.
Oh, no. Get rid of that.
Yeah, that's an unlucky die.
I'm
Is it,
just
like,
gonna-
weighted?
That's
It's his only die.
that's trashed.
Okay. Strix, you see up in the trees, you are not surprised when poisoned arrows start to rain down on you from above.
Oh, good.
And because you saw them, you're able to alert your friends.
All right, I just look over and go, wee woo!
Mushroom grenades time!
No, that's not gonna help.
Oh my
not?
gosh. This dice is on
Take-
fire. My pink die.
Also,
All right.
y'all take cover.
Yep. Oh, okay. So as arrows rain down, Evelyn, you are hit by one for 1 point of damage.
Ha!
Doink.
Cutie.
And you don't have to worry about any other effect.
Heck no.
Oh, I forgot to add the bonus. So actually, it's 4 points of damage.
What?
Yep.
That's still nothing to you.
Jared, you too are hit by an arrow
Went from a
for
pinprick to a paper cut.
7
No.
points of damage.
7.
Yep, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Can I uncanny dodge it?
No, because you're. No, you weren't surprised. Yes, you can.
Okay, good. Uncanny dodge.
All right, you take 3, and I need a Constitution saving throw with that big
Got it.
lumbering die of yours.
Okay, I'll do the big lumbering die if that's what you want. What's my
If that's what you
constitution?
want.
Here it comes, baby. Woo! 18.
All right, you are not affected by the poison. And then Strix, you are
Yeah.
hit by 1 arrow for 9.
Oh man.
That one gets you good. And if you could make a Constitution saving throw, that would be awesome.
All right. Oh, 17.
You are fine. And Paulton, you two are hit by 1 arrow, and this one does 6 points of damage.
Are they standing close enough to me that they get any benefit from my?
The arrows seem to have originated from a point 80 feet away and up in the trees.
No, I mean,
Oh, your friends?
yeah, because are they within 5 feet of me?
No.
Okay.
Dragon
Well,
bait
just
is, though.
checking. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
Dragon Bait is in my aura,
Okay.
in my protection fighting style, though.
Oh, that's great. Then as an arrow comes down for him, you just sort of bat it out of the way.
Yeah.
Great.
I get to impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
Yep.
But,
Yep. His missed because of you.
ha!
And how'd you do on your...
I like mom arm him with
yeah,
the
you
hammer.
did. You totally did. How did
Yeah.
you do on your saving throw there, Strix? Or Nate. Sorry.
That would be
Constitution save.
7.
Are
Okay.
you within 10 feet of me?
Yes.
Then you get to add your +5.
Oh,
So 12.
12.
Great. Then you are successfully able to repel the poison as well, thanks to Evelyn's magnificent
God.
aura.
I'm just like, bitch, I always poison my own body.
All right?
Yeah, something.
Simon is hit by an arrow, and it sticks in him. And he just sort of, it sticks him right in the chest, and he just kind of goes,
You good?
and then Waffles is hit by 3 arrows.
No, I'm sitting on waffles, so
Yes, you are. So you,
I get to impose disadvantage.
yes,
Wait,
they'll
can I only do
reroll
that
all
one
of
turn?
those. All right, she's hit by 2 arrows instead.
Ha! Evelyn's like, choo, 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 choo.
Yep. So you deflect one of them, 2 of them hit, and she succeeds at both of her saving throws versus the poison.
I'm kind of worried though, because isn't that use your reaction? So if I already used my reaction,
Oh, it
on
is a
Dragon
reaction.
Bait-
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So you
I
can only
can
do
do
it to Dieth. So I have to make another roll. So she takes a bit more damage, but still repels the poison.
Oh.
All right. So after getting shot with 3 arrows, Waffles is angry.
Aw. Get him! Just kidding.
And she's trying to figure out where it came from. So let's roll initiative, everybody.
All right, all right. I will not use the honking dice.
I'm using my Evelyn dice this time. Come on, Lathander. Oh, for heaven's sake.
How did you do?
6 total.
Okay. 6. Dieth.
13.
13. Strix.
12.
And Paulson.
11.
11. All right. Dieth, what would you like to do?
All right, so do we have a general idea of where these arrows came from?
They came from up in the trees. When you look up, you can see, because they had to reveal themselves, that there are these basically colorful tree frogs up on the limbs of the trees, about 80 feet above you. And they're not all on one tree. They're basically on 3 different trees in a triangular formation. Like they basically got you in their triangle and were shooting down at you from different angles.
And they have like little short bows or something?
They have short bows, yes.
Damn it. 80 feet, huh?
Yep. You can see that most of the ones that you see are sort of a very, very bright green color. But there's at least 1 or 2 that are a gold or orange color.
All right. Can I tell how many there are?
They're pretty bright, even up in the shady trees. You can count what looks to be about a dozen.
Jeez. All right. I'm going to use my cunning action to dash
Okay.
and to whatever a smaller cluster of them is. Like if there's only like 2 or 3 nearby. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
there's like
do
4 in each tree.
Okay, I'm gonna head to one of them, using
Okay.
second story work to just go right up that tree super quick.
Okay.
But I'm scaling the tree on the side that puts the other groups of frog people kind of like on the other side of the tree. So like at least
Right.
like
You're using the tree for cover
conceal
against the
yeah.
other two groups. Got
You
it.
can cover
And
then,
you can run up. You can move your full speed, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So you can move a total of 60 feet up the tree. So you're about 20 feet below those grungs at the end of that move.
Yeah, so I'm like jumping up onto a branch and like swinging up onto it and then like leaping
Right.
off. And, just,
And
like,
then you've
super
got your
climbing
dash
up.
too, right?
Yeah,
So
I
you
feel
can
like
get
60.
to them. All
Oh, I
right.
can reach them?
Yeah, because you can move, use your action. That's 30 plus dash.
I'll get up to 60.
Okay.
And then once it's up to there, like hop up around the tree and kind of like swing around the whole trunk and then come back around, throw
Yep.
a dagger at one of them.
Okay. Do you want to? So on this particular tree that you're attacking, there's one orange grung and 3 green ones.
Orange, because he stands out more.
Yep.
So, dagger attack. Yeah! Oh, it's a natural 20, baby!
Ooh, okay.
What?
That's what you get for shooting our bear. Ow. Oh, both the D4s were 1s. So it's a total of 7 damage.
Okay. You wound him, and he is still alive. Still fine. Strix, what do you do on your turn? 3 groups of grungs, 80 feet above you, 4 per tree.
And they don't speak common. I know.
You were
they're
told that they don't speak any
Right.
languages that they know back at the camp.
I want to yell. I want to try and yell at them. I want to try and get their attention, and just like.
Oh, you've got their attention already.
Okay, good. I want to try and persuade them to say like, just talk to us. We're not here to fight. We're not here to fight. We don't listen to Breakleg or Mendleg or what's his name, Paulson. I don't remember.
Something deceiving.
Okay. So are you trying to then persuade them? Is that what you're doing? Yeah. You want to make a
I'm
persuasion
trying to.
check?
Yes, I'm trying to
Okay.
persuade them.
Go ahead. Make it a disadvantage because you don't share a common language.
All right. 8.
Okay.
My first roll was 19.
Okay. You don't get any. I mean, they're looking at you with these froggy eyes, so you know
Yeah.
you're not sure what they're thinking exactly. But there's no change in their demeanor, as far as you can tell. And Paulton, what do you do?
Let's see here. How far are they?
They're 80 feet up.
Okay, cool. And there's at least like 2 right next to each other, right?
Yes.
Are they? Can't remember the description. Are
I
they
smell a crown of
humanoid?
madness coming on.
No. What?
I was just looking up. They are in fact humanoid, so they would be affected by this spell.
Cool. I want to watch a frog fight.
All right. We got a saving throw coming. Ooh, we rolled natural 2. So, yeah, frog fight brewing. So, question for you. On that tree you targeted, there's 3 green grungs and 1 orange grung. Do you have a preference for who gets madness?
Let's have the. I would like to think that the one that is different is like special. So maybe
Okay.
he's like the strongest. So that's my champion.
Great. Okay, so you have a madness. The other orange guy is mad. Excellent.
And I just like nudge to my party. I'm like, yo, check this out.
Simon just looks at you and like points to the arrow in his chest.
Can I just like swat it off? Just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you totally can. Okay. He feels much better now. All right. Next up is the grung. Diath, the one that you wounded.
I didn't get to go.
Oh, that's because your initiative is low.
You do it for me.
Yep. So the grung that you wounded Diath leaps from his higher branch down at you with a dagger out.
Oh, it's like an impressive looking jump, too.
Yeah, yeah. This is like a super poison frog jump.
I could do it.
He rolled a 19 on the die, plus 5 is 24. So he stabs you for 4 piercing damage.
Okay.
And
It's like frog death.
you.
yeah.
This is technically a new round, so you could use Uncanny Dodge.
I won't
Okay,
yet.
all right. Then make a Constitution saving throw.
Ah,
A new
heck.
round? Then I definitely didn't get to go. Because I haven't gone at all.
You haven't gone yet. Yep, that's true.
Okay. Constitution saving
Yes,
throw?
please.
10.
All right, then you take an additional
Is this
5
the poison
points
damage
of.
again?
Sorry?
Is this the poison damage again? Because
This
that
is
one
poison.
happens over and over again. So you
Yeah.
have plus
But
5
he's
to
not
that.
within 10 feet of you.
Oh, I scared away from
Oh,
it.
dang it.
Yeah, he's up a tree.
Sorry.
Just kidding.
Sorry,
I took,
Way
I
to
took-
go.
I just hit my microphone. So you take another 5 poison damage on top of that.
Uncanny dodge the poison in my veins.
Yes. Well,
My atoms, they
Yeah, whatever.
dodge.
okay. So use your uncanny dodge for that, and the 3 other grung in the tree all try to pick you off with their arrows. They're going to be at disadvantage because they don't want to hit their buddy, but they all miss you.
Aha!
The other grung are going to rain arrows down upon Strix
I tried.
because they don't. They thought they were they just assumed you were cursing
Screaming
them.
obscenities
Yeah,
at them.
exactly. Strix, you're hit by 1 arrow. 1 arrow does 7 points of damage.
All right.
And another Constitution save, please.
All right.
Are you going
16.
Okay, you're
Someone
good.
stand next to me so I can help.
All right.
We don't want to hear about Lathander. That's why we moved.
Evelyn, your
That's
protection.
fine, then you take the poison damage.
You're able to protect Dragonbait again, Evelyn. And but an arrow gets through your own defense with a 23 to hit you.
Well, it sure does hit me.
It hits you for 9,
Ouch.
and you don't need to make a saving throw. All right.
Can't
and-
poison me. Ha!
Yep. And then the grung on grung action.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So yes, the orange grung attacks one of the green grungs, wounds him. The green grung just sort of cowers down in a little ball and starts shrieking.
Yeah, fuck him up.
All right. And then it's Evelyn's turn.
Finally. All right, so you said there's 3 trees full of grungs.
3 trees, each has 4 grungs in it, all about 80 feet above you.
Evelyn, they're 80 feet above me, but how far from me?
Oh, I'm just going to say 80 feet for the sake of simplicity.
Oh, man. That's far.
That is far.
How far can I throw
What are you throwing?
a mushroom grenade?
That's too far. Mushroom grenade has a maximum range of 60 feet. A javelin,
All
on the
right.
other hand, has a maximum range of 120 feet.
I don't want no javelin. I go make a swoop and grab 2 mushrooms in my hands and just fly toward the
Okay.
tree.
All right.
And I'm going to use as much movement as I can and not use an action.
Okay, so you fly 30, right? So you can fly 60 feet up and be 20 feet away from them at the end of your turn. All right. Diath.
Also, if I can, I don't know where the others are, but if any of them are nearby, I try to go close to them.
Okay. Awesome.
All right, so I've got 1 engaged with me.
Yes, you've got an orange one stabbing you with a dagger.
All right,
and
so I
and
kinda
yelling at you in some weird frog language.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's real gross. So I still kind of like hold him up with like the arm, like my left forearm, and as I reach for my sword, so I can try to stab him with it.
Okay.
No, it's not fancy at all. 9?
9 is not a hit.
Uh-oh.
Your sword does not find flesh.
Yeah, all right.
Strix.
Sorry. I was getting my. I was getting ready to
Yep.
do some burning. So as soon as I realized they don't speak common, I'm just like, oh wow, well fuck it, and I'm just like, just throw fireball into the trees.
Yeah, 1 fireball can get all the grung in 1 tree.
Yeah, perfect.
Now, do you want to get
Jeez.
the grung in Dieth's tree, or the grung where Paulton is orchestrating a fight, or the third tree?
I'll go with the. How many grung are in Diet's tree?
4, including the one he's fighting hand to
And in
hand.
the other tree?
4 and 4.
Okay, so it's 4 and 4. All right, I'll get the one in Diet's tree first so that,
All right.
that they're taken care of.
All right. A familiar greenish fireball goes off all around you, Dieth, catching your buddy, and 3 grung shooting arrows at you above.
I like to imagine while I was fending him off, I actually knew this fireball was coming.
Yep.
Just like, here it
Yes.
comes.
Oh, good news, Strix. They all failed their saves.
Yay! That is 31 damage. I started using the online dice roller because it was just faster.
At least
Okay.
for fireballs.
Yeah, for
The
fireballs,
3
yes.
green grung in the limb above you, Dieth, they're all just blown away by the flames. Their ashes fly through the air, and they don't even so much as utter a scream. The orange one is just burnt absolutely black, and you think like he's just dead and standing in front of you, but then you realize he's got like just the barest amount of life still left in his body.
Fine, you son of a bitch.
And there's just copious smells of smoke coming off of him, and all his flesh is burned, and his eyes, you can barely see out. Yeah, his short bow has been destroyed. He's just got his blackened dagger. And yeah, and so it is Paulton's turn. So Paulton, you're concentrating on that spell, orchestrating this battle royale on the tree limb. I assume you're going to maintain concentration.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you can probably drink while doing that.
Yeah, make the fight more fun to watch.
Yep. Okay. In that case, Paulton, your guy kills that little green grung who doesn't defend himself.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 grung scamper away from him, realizing their little leader has gone insane. And he chases after them. Instead of saying something in grung you don't recognize, like, it's fine, come here, it's safe.
Like, I like this guy.
And they go running
It's
across a
actually
limb
killer.
and then running across another limb, and they kind of leap from one limb to another limb, and the whole chase is on. Your crazy grung is going to go after them and try to murder them.
Cool. I like this.
Of the remaining, the one in front of you, Dieth, will valiantly try to stab you, but only rolled a 12.
Yeah.
And then the last tree of grung is going to all fire at Strix, because she throws terrible magic.
That's fine.
Okay, one of them hits you, Strix, for 6,
All right.
and another saving throw.
14.
You're good. And the last one crit you for 9,
Cool.
and another saving throw.
18. Jesus. How am I rolling so good today?
Good job. Evelyn,
Yeah.
you're 20 feet away from the ones raining down death upon Strix. You got 2 big
I
zabu
want to do
mushrooms.
like a flyby bombing of the tree that those 2 are not working on. So the other fresh tree of grung just
Yep.
like
Boof, boof. Very good.
yeah.
The just make a ranged attack roll using your dexterity modifier.
Ooh, my pleasure. 14.
Okay. They both go off. There's a cloud of spores all around them. And then you see the grung, they look around completely unaffected, and then their little tongues sort of dart out and eat some of the spores.
You've made them stronger!
These grenades suck, Strix.
I didn't say throw with the poison frogs. They obviously match.
All right, and Dieth.
Do I have any movement left? Probably
Yes,
not.
you do. Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to go back toward my friends then.
Okay.
Close to them.
Okay.
Protect them from poison.
All right.
Alright, I'm gonna finish off this orange bird bastard in front of me.
Yeah.
So I can kill him! Oh, that's another natural 20!
All right. Well,
We're
he
rolling
and
way
his
too well
1 hit
today.
point aren't going to fare too well
Let me
against
roll,
that.
Chris Perkins!
Okay.
6! 3, 9, 14 damage. So then, after he's gotten scorched, I was kind of fending him off. I just stabbed right into the side of the rib cage.
Nice.
And then I kind of turn him and then use my foot and kind of kick him off my sword and slide the body so he falls down and lands in front of Waffles.
Okay.
Brutal.
Yes.
Waffles is
No,
basically
he's a
this whole-
poison frog. He looks like, no!
Waffles is fine.
Is it venomous or poisonous? Because that's different.
It doesn't matter to Waffles.
Waffles is like, nom, nom, nom,
Yeah,
nom,
these
nom,
creatures
nom.
are actually poisonous, but yeah.
But even- or
Waffles' constitution
Waffles
saving
got-
throw is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
She's
been
a
cooked. It's
giant
been
50
thoroughly
pound
cooked.
owlbear.
It's like just burnt.
We've seen her eat way worse things.
Yes.
It's true.
Yep. And then Strix. Oh yeah, it's your turn.
How many are left now?
Well, let's see. You don't have to worry about the ones that Paulton took care of. There are just the 4 up in the undamaged tree.
Okay, so there's 4 left.
The ones who are surrounded by little clouds of spores.
Right, got it. Okay.
I'm sorry, audience, if you hear me sniffing, it's because my I've got a cold and I took medication, but it's worn off now and I can feel it.
Oh no!
My head is
I don't
just
think
filling
there's
up with
anything, but I can tell
mucus.
you're struggling.
There'll be mucus coming out my ears in a minute.
That's the worst. I hate it when your eyes are weeping and it's just like, ugh,
That
everything
happens
is
to me all the
bad.
time.
And I'll just fireball less few of them, or whatever.
That's
Saving throws. All right. All right, 3 of them failed.
All right. Didn't roll as well this time, but still good. And I'm just like, sorry if you hadn't attacked us. It'd be fine.
What's the damage?
29.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So the 3 green grung are blown to bits. The orange grung is badly wounded. So he is now really the only one left. And Paulton, you can see the grungs that or the one that you drove mad is still chasing the others through the trees. And they're sort of they're going off and away from you at this point.
Cool.
Do you want to do anything or keep the spell going? Is that your plan?
Yeah, I'm liking
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it seems to be working pretty well for you. And actually,
Does
you
Simon get a go?
you want him to do anything?
Is there anything in shooting distance?
No. And there never was. They were always far enough away that they were out of the range of his dart.
Simon, line.
His straw comes in.
Yep.
Off screen. Just
Yeah.
straw.
There it is. Simon, line.
All right. The last grung is going to try to get away. He will begin leaping through the trees. The wounded one who just got blasted by that fireball. Since he's the only one left, he's not sticking around. And so he begins to bound off, which brings us to Evelyn.
Evelyn is disheartened.
By the way, Evelyn, you notice that they're small and they're agile, but they're not faster than you. Their speed is actually slightly slower than a normal human.
Well, I went back toward my friends,
Yeah.
and I'm not super rangy, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm right next to. Are you guys clumped up anymore, or are you kind of all over the place?
I'm still in a tree.
He's still in a tree, but Strix and Paulton, Waffles and Simon and Dragonbait are all basically together.
Okay, I go back to sit on Waffles,
Okay.
protect our little girl, and then that probably doesn't use more than 30 feet, right?
No, you got movement to spare.
So then I'm gonna take a javelin out and be like, kind of blow the dust off it, chuck it.
At the fleeing
Yeah.
one?
No, aren't there some still in a tree?
No.
Oh, then never mind. I don't do anything if it's
Okay.
running away.
Yep, it seems to be.
Okay. I thought that one tree was still full. Sorry.
Yep.
Then I don't. I just pet Waffles reassuringly
All right.
while she munches on Frog.
As you do that, and Diaz, you can make your way back down the tree if you want, or do you want to do something else?
I'm gonna take note. So it's like several kind of all retreating.
Yep. There,
Perfect.
there's one who's madly chasing after the others, trying to murder them. And in fact, you see him jump on the green one's back and stab it to death.
Nice.
And he's got a crown of madness around his head that you recognize as Paulton's handiwork.
Yeah, but I can
there's
tell
a
what
fleeing, but there is a
direction they're
fleeing
currently
one. There's a fleeing one going in a different direction. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If I know what direction they're going, I'm gonna take mental note of that because I feel like that's where we're gonna go next.
Okay.
Maybe
Should we
expedite
chase
our, maybe we'll check everyone first, make sure we're all okay.
All right. As you look around and see danger, Dragonbait taps Paulton on the shoulder and points. And Paulton, where he's pointing, you can see, he just uses his sword to point, basically. You can see coming out of a berry bush nearby is a tiny, about a foot tall, grung. And it's purple, like bright, bright purple, almost
Like a-
lavender.
Like a child frog thing?
It looks like a young grung, and it just sort of comes out of the bushes and just sort of stares at you with big blinking eyes. Blink, blink,
It's a baby.
blink, blink.
Don't worry, dude, I got this.
Okay, get away from it.
It's like, hey, little dude. What's up?
He seems very curious and is moving kind of cautiously in your direction.
Aw, he sees that you're good with kids. Daddy Paulton.
He's looking up at Dieth, and he's looking up at Paulton. He's looking up at Dieth and Paulton. Big blinking eyes. Blink, 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 blink.
Oh, throw him a snack. You want a snackety snack, little friend? You want a snackety snack? Come here.
Like, oh, where's your family? Uh-oh.
And that's where we'll stop for tonight.
Oh, we'll be wondering all week how we're about to get horribly hurt.
Where's your family? Oh.
Oh.
They attacked first.
All right. Very cool.
Well, thank you, Chris, for doing that despite your illness.
Yeah, I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
It's about time we adopt a new child, guys. I think we've got a grown baby.
No. We have so many children.
I think we're good.
All right. So what's going on with you guys in the week and weeks ahead? There's a little thing going on in PAX Unplugged in 2 weeks. I heard about that.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. We're on. Is it Friday night at
Yeah, I wanna say Friday
8:30? Friday night, 8:30, Philadelphia time, whatever that is.
Streaming that one?
Yeah, it'll be streamed.
Yep.
It will be
It will be
streamed.
streamed. Yes, we'll have live Waffle Crew. So
And it's in the big main theater. It's like
Yes.
a real
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be in
no.
costume and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we gonna?
Awesome.
Are we all? What are we? Are we all gonna be there?
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
I don't think so.
We do.
It's all right. You'll just be drunk under the table as usual.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yep.
Also, Miss Clicks is back after a couple weeks break. So right after this, like literally right now, I'm gonna go over to twitch.tv/MissClicks for D&D Devotion, where I play a bard with lots of drama.
If you're looking for even further D&D podcasts to listen to, Dragons in Places, a new campaign that I dungeon master for the Game Grumps, started a couple of weeks ago. Episode 3 is coming out tomorrow. It's very newbie friendly, so if you're new to Dungeons and Dragons and kind of want to get an idea what it's like for new players to play, it's a perfect way to start. It's called Dragons and Places on the Game Grumps YouTube channel. There's also a podcast version that you can get from somewhere. I'm sure
iTunes. You get on iTunes, yeah. A few
Yeah,
other
so-
places too.
So it's Aaron, Susie, Barry, and Ross is on the show. Remember Ross as good old Wumba from the
Yes.
past couple of
Yep.
episodes. And Holly is on it as well.
And I play a tiefling that's not Strix.
It's not it's a tiefling druid, and I am the dungeon master. So there you go. If you're looking for a newbie-friendly D&D podcast, that one just started, and that's the great one to listen to.
Dungeons and Places
Yay.
tomorrow.
Maybe you need something to listen to on the plane to PAX Unplugged.
Oh, did you say what time? What did you say? What time tomorrow it is?
Oh, it's just on YouTube, so it just gets.
Oh,
I think
got
it
it.
gets
Okay.
put out at noon.
Yeah,
So the video goes out at noon.
at
Right.
noon Pacific.
Yeah. And yeah, I think PAX Unplugged is my only thing coming up. So hooray!
Yep. We've got on November 18th, Force Grey. Check that out. And with Matthew Mercer as the DM and an all-star wonderful cast. And
Yeah, there's a lot going on at PAX.
yeah,
There's some good games. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited for a con in a long time.
so much fun. Yeah, I got the Waffle Crew and Acquisitions Inc. and the C Team's going to be there, and Critical Role people are going to be there doing stuff. And so yeah, it's a tabletop mecca.
There's also going to be a panel about streaming tabletop RPGs that Holly's going to be on with me and a couple other people.
Cool.
And I'm also on a panel called the GM Improv Showdown that Hyper RPG is putting together.
All right.
Nice.
Well, if that's all,
Good luck, your nose.
Anna has a game, so we probably shouldn't tarry. And we'll see everybody back here next week.
Hey.
Yay! Thanks for watching, everybody. See you
Yeah,
next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.